Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Coming Out Cosmic podcast. My name is Christine Nowinski, ET contactee, awakening coach, and founder of Coming Out Cosmic. This podcast is for those who are questioning reality, those who want to see past the 9-to-5 matrix, who maybe you believe in aliens or maybe you believe in reptilians. We talk about all that crazy stuff on this podcast because we try to normalize it because you're not crazy. You are actually very cosmic. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about one of my favorite topics. You might know me from TikTok talking about this topic all the time, and that is the reptilians. And here with me today to talk about her experience with reptilians is my friend Rosanna.
Thanks for having me.
Maybe you're new here, maybe you're not, but if you're not new here, you might know that I always say that I dated a reptilian. Yes, this is very possible to do. Reptilians walk among us. These are extraterrestrial beings. They are fourth dimensional. We can't always see them, and I believe that human beings have a lot of reptilian DNA. Some of us don't have so much. Some of us, I believe, may not even have any at all because we live in a limitless universe. However, I happen to date somebody who had a shit ton of reptilian DNA, and I believe that through this DNA, he had a natural connection to the reptilian lineage. Therefore, a lot of reptiles were around him in a fourth dimensional way, influencing him and therefore influencing me in our 2-year toxic relationship. So let's talk about this reptilian that I dated. And for privacy purposes, his name is Thomas. I will also say that this is for entertainment only. This is all just alleged things that may or may not have happened. And we are telling a story, right, Rosanna?
Yes. Once upon a time,
there was a girl named Christine and a boy named Thomas. I think that in other podcast episodes, I'll get a little bit more into the beginning of our relationship and into how we met and some of the characteristics I picked up on intuitively that I ignored, that I should not have ignored. But the purpose of today's podcast episode is really to offer you the point of view of a friend who is friends with somebody who is in a relationship with a reptilian. And this can be extremely frustrating for the friend, right?
Oh yeah, it was. More specifically towards the end though.
Of the relationship?
Yeah. So in the beginning, he was fun.
Manipulative.
Yeah, well, that's why. Mm-hmm. But in the beginning, it was fine. We went out to bars. Like, he would be the one to buy all the drinks, you know, like be the cool boyfriend, you know?
Yes, I have to say that this is a very typical reptilian thing to do, is they are the ones who are in control. They're in the power dynamic of being on top, so to speak. They show off this control through money. Most of the time, these reptilians are in positions of power, such as lawyer, doctor, judge, etc. The fact that Thomas would constantly be taking out me and you and all of my other friends to bars and purchasing things for us was a form of manipulation.
Yeah, he would invite us over all the time and we would always party and all that fun stuff. And he was fun. It was fun in the beginning. I had a good time.
Yes. I think that over time, things got progressively worse because, and I know that you feel this too.
Yeah.
But things got worse because he was able to successfully lock his energy into our energy, essentially, is how I see it. He did that through manipulating us, through giving us a good time, through purchasing things for us. That's how he won us all over.
Yeah, and not just you. You keep saying us because he not just manipulated you, but manipulated us to believe that he was a good person.
Right. And you know what? I do want to clarify. He wasn't all bad. Not all reptilians are bad. However, he just displayed some of the darkest qualities of reptilian energy. I do think that deep down he is a good person.
Yeah.
I don't want this to be trashing the reptilians or him specifically in any way. I do actually feel for him because I know that he has been trying to escape this reptilian energy for many, many lifetimes. And this was something my higher self told me in my quantum healing hypnosis therapy session, QHHT. And unfortunately, he is a victim to the reptilians just as much as I was, just as much as you were, etc. So let's go into some of the red flags or some of the biggest moments where, God damn it, I should have known that I was dating a reptilian and I didn't, because at the time we didn't even know what they were.
No, I feel like this is also when we started awakening more too. We've always had the spiritual awake-ness, but I feel like this time is when we really started to wake up.
Yes, and that is when they come to you. Fun fact about reptilians, I want you to think about if you think that you have any reptilian energy or influences in your life, and think about where you were on your spiritual awakening journey when that happened. Because most of the time, reptilians will come to you when you are in the middle of or in the beginning of your awakening, because they want to actually siphon that light. They want for you to not wake up. It's very typical that he did come into my life at that time, in your life as well.
A couple of the small things that at least I started noticing was if I wanted to hang out with Christine or we wanted to have a girls' night with our other friends, he would want to be there. Or it had to be at his house. He would not leave her side. One time, Kelsey, and I went out to dinner, and it was like the first time we got you away from him, and we told you we never see you alone anymore.
What was my reaction? I don't even remember.
I think you were so manipulated that you're just like, you didn't even realize.
Oh my God.
The other things, for example, when we were at the softball game, we were just going to go to the bar down the street, and he got mad at you for driving with me instead of him when we were literally going 2 minutes away down the street. And I was like, why is he so mad?
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely recap that from my position. We would always go to these softball games that he was a part of. We would also go to a bar afterwards. And the one time that I wanted to leave with Rosanna to go to the bar, literally 2 minutes away, he gave me the hardest time. And he was like, well, why would you drive with Rosanna? Why wouldn't you just drive with me? Now looking back, like, I'm feeling so sick. I'm feeling such ick about it. I can't believe that I didn't just break away from him and break up with him in that moment for something so ridiculous.
Yeah, but like I said, you did not see it. I really don't think you saw it
for a while.
Yeah. So like, I feel like you did know something was wrong, but at the same time, literally something would happen. And then the next day I would say something. You're like, oh, we're fine now.
Because he would manipulate me into thinking that we were fine. This was the most tumultuous, toxic relationship that I've ever been in. Don't get me wrong, there were some really good fun times, for sure. And again, I think inherently deep down on a soul level, he is a good person. Fun fact, my QHHT session had revealed to me that me and Thomas had been together in past lives before, and in a past life he was my father, but a very toxic masculine figure. I had to try to escape him in that lifetime, and I wasn't successful. Therefore, this same lesson carried over in this lifetime. So I do believe something like this, being in a relationship with a reptilian, is definitely something that you sign up for. It's meant to be. It's most likely karmic. In my case, it was definitely karmic. However, the relationship taught me so much. And one of the first things that I learned to actually start harnessing was the power of my intuition through that relationship. Because I don't know if I even ever told you that the entire time I was with him, like from start to finish, from the beginning of the 2 years to the end, my intuition, my stomach was on fire every single time I was near him.
No, well, you didn't say that specifically, but you would say stuff like, I would hope you get stuck at work late and he wouldn't come home or something like that.
I know. I knew that it was bad when I started thinking, oh my gosh, I just want for him to never return home permanently.
I mean, I've had that with an ex before. I don't know if he's reptilian, but
he could be.
He could be.
He could be. I feel like reptilians are attracted to natural light workers.
Well, we can get into that one a different day then.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about our exes, and, send in your stories to @ComingOutCosmic on any major platform, and I can help you try to discern if you ever dated a reptilian. Nothing wrong with it. There's definitely good and bad in all species. But I wanted to take us back to one of the most pivotal nights in this relationship where we all knew that something was wrong. And that was the night that we went to a silent disco.
I love silent discos.
Yes. However, on this night,
we had fun in the beginning.
Yes. And on this night, it was not very fun.
I do want to start by saying, before we get into the story of the silent disco, anytime there was like confrontation between you two, he would call me before you even got to me.
Ridiculous.
To tell me his side of the story. And he would like make you sound like the bad guy.
Yes. And I didn't know that he was doing this.
Yeah, because he wanted me to go ahead and talk to you about the situation without you realizing I I already knew what was going on.
Yes. So you actually were so manipulated by him as well that you kept it to yourself that he had already talked to you about what had happened. And I never knew he did this. I think this finally came out towards the end of the relationship. That is so fishy and manipulative.
Like, I feel like he would call me the second your argument was over.
He would.
The second.
He definitely would. I didn't know it at the time, but I would know that he did something because then you would text me.
Or like I would try to get together with you to be like, what's wrong? And you'd be like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah, it was never fine.
You would tell me what happened, but you wouldn't really tell me what happened. I don't know. It's weird.
It's so interesting to hear you talk about this and to hear it from your perspective years later, because I don't even know who I was at that point when I dated him. I wasn't myself.
No, because I'm like, she's not stupid, and these things she's saying is kind of stupid.
Yeah, I'm a Capricorn. I'm not stupid.
No, because I'd be out of this so fast.
No, I mean, when you don't even know what the signs are, it's incredibly difficult to know what to do when you're in a relationship with a reptilian. One of those signs is the manipulation and the control power dynamics. The let me pay for this, let me also always be with you, and let me not let you be with your family and friends alone. Those are red flags, people. But let's get back into that night of the silent disco. That was when shit really hit the fan.
Yeah, the whole night was actually really fun. By the end of the night, they were saying, start turning in your headphones because it's over. And I was actually with someone I just started talking to. So we went as a group, and you and Thomas already handed in your headphones and we're outside, and we were in line to hand in our headphones. We went outside and you two are arguing. I was like, what's going on?
Wait, I do remember what happened. And
I know what happened.
So, okay, I don't remember what you remember what happened. So I'll tell you what actually happened, and then you tell me what he said happened. So I'll tell you why we started fighting. I went outside and I sat at a table. Thomas went back to his car to get some cigarettes. Now, something I want to note here is that in this relationship with Thomas, I smoked cigarettes. He got me addicted to e-cigarettes. We did different vices, different drugs, because that is a very low vibrational activity, and it's something that actually, I believe, siphons your light. It's not good for you. That is one other way to know, potentially, if you're in a relationship with a reptilian, if you find yourself going down a bad road. My mom always taught me, you smoke, you die. And so for me to be smoking cigarettes was not in my character at all.
Oh, I remember the one time, like, you were smoking and I just took it out of your hand and threw it on the ground. I was so mad.
Because I would never.
No.
Exactly. Okay. So I'm sitting at the table. He's going to his car to grab cigarettes. And then this one drunk guy comes and he sits next to me at the table. We're just having like casual conversation. He wanted to know if I had a cigarette. I probably said something like, oh, wait, my boyfriend's coming back and he'll have a cigarette for you, because I wouldn't even think of anything other than to say the truth.
And wasn't his like wife or girlfriend also standing right there?
Yes. So his wife or girlfriend was also there. She wasn't there right in the beginning. Like, he came alone and sat next to me, but then she came up to us. And at this point, Thomas is coming back from his car and he starts flipping out. He starts like batshit crazy, screaming that this man is talking to me. And the wife gets so upset because she's also now feeding off of this nasty reptilian energy and freaking out that her husband or boyfriend is doing something wrong by sitting next to me and asking me for a cigarette. So she's all flipping out on this poor man, and me and this poor man are like, what is going on here? You literally just sat down and asked for a cigarette. And it all started because Thomas was so fucking pissed that this man came and even was just within my presence, because to Thomas, I was his territory.
Yeah, he got mad because a man asked you for a cigarette.
Yeah, and so when you came outside, I don't really remember the fighting part, because honestly, it's not even that I was drinking that much, but this is like PTSD, traumatic, why I black out things.
But at the same time, it's not necessarily you guys are fighting, because you were literally just standing there while he was yelling at you.
Oh,
and you were
wow.
like fed up. You know what I mean? I feel like you've had so many fights with him that this fight, you were just so tired of it that you were just letting him yell at you.
I don't even remember that because I just block all of this out.
Yeah. I'm not saying you didn't yell at all. I'm not saying you didn't whatever. But most of the time you were just like taking it, and in the sense that you're just tired of it.
Yeah. Defeated. I mean, absolute defeat. And then what he would do is then love bomb. So he would do something like that, and then he would just completely love bomb me, which is basically a term for when somebody overindulges in love for you. Like they overindulge in buying you things. They give you a lot of material things. I know that we used to go on vacation a lot. That was a form of love bombing, but it was also a form of me trying to escape my reality with him.
Yeah.
And so we went home.
Back to your house, or his house, because he forced you to live there.
Oh, that's another story. We'll talk about that in another episode.
Like I said, I was with a new guy, maybe a couple months with this guy.
Oh, this poor man.
He is now witnessing. And ironically, you two, I think, went to school together.
Yes.
He's just meeting Thomas, I think, for like the first, maybe second time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what he's witnessing. And he's trying to calm everybody down.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm crying because, like,
Oh my
I don't
God.
know what to do.
I think you were.
I was crying because I was like, I don't know what to do.
Because what was happening was, at this point, me and Thomas were in a full-on screaming war.
Yeah, and you were trying to leave the house, and he would not let you leave.
Oh, my God.
He was standing in front of the door and not letting you leave.
Oh, my God.
And I kept telling him, I said, I'm bringing her to my house. You guys cannot be in the room together. He said, if she leaves, we're breaking up.
And at that point, I'm like, okay, let me leave then.
Yeah, but it was a bad fight.
It was bad.
Finally, I witnessed why he would call me first to like tell me, air quote, his story and make him sound like he was the one. But in reality, it was literally switched.
And that is a key characteristic of the Reptilians. Manipulative.
But I was able to get you out of the house, and I did bring you home.
Thank you so much for saving me.
Well, kind of, sort of.
What do you mean?
Because the week later was his softball game that I refused to go to because of that fight. Somehow you were fine to the point where you almost bought a house with him.
Oh my God. Okay, we'll save that for a future podcast episode as well. How did it happen that after all of this trauma, I was still then manipulated into buying a home with him?
But I believe because I was on the outside and I actually finally witnessed this fight, I was just done. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So being that you were on the inside, obviously he had more control over you, so he can manipulate you. But since I finally witnessed it and witnessed how bad a behavior he was towards you, I was like, nope, nope, nope.
Yeah, and that's what friends are for. If you are a friend and you think that somebody is dating a reptilian or potentially dating one, you should share with them this podcast episode. See if it resonates. We share a couple of the signs that they may or may not be in a relationship with a reptilian. Again, good and bad in all species, but they do tend to be more horrible than other ET species. And it is possible for a human being to be a reptilian through reptilian DNA. I do believe that human beings have alien DNA, and that can be another topic for another podcast episode. Any final thoughts here, Rosanna, as the friend of somebody who survived a traumatic relationship such as this one?
Be honest with your friends up front.
You knew something was up.
Yeah, but at the same time, you kept saying you were fine. So...
Oh, so you're telling me to be honest?
No, I'm telling me to be honest.
Okay. Like to call me out?
Yeah. When you like you said, your intuition, like I felt something wasn't right, even though you kept saying, oh no, it's fine. We're fine. I'd be like, are we fine? Blink twice. Yes, once, no.
And there you have it. What it's like on the outside and on the inside to date a reptilian. Thank you, Rosanna, so much for coming on this podcast again. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Don't jump to the conclusion that you're dating a reptilian just because of this story. There is good and bad in all species, but I do hope that this helps to shed some light in on some of those more toxic relationships that you may have had or that other people in your life may have had, and that you might consider, is this actually the true, beautiful human soul that is coming through, or could this person be manipulated by reptilian energy around them, or could they have highly activated of DNA. There are so many different possibilities here. So don't judge people. Just listen to your intuition above all. Always, always, always listen to your intuition. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Okay, bye.
Bye.